And we are live. Welcome back to our YouTube video in prep. So we have got a training day video, big pull session going down, so not got this filmed in a while, and there has been quite an exciting adjustment made to the session, so I thought I'd get it filmed, walk through back training as a whole, everything you need to know, because especially for beginners, even advanced lifters, like back training is probably the toughest to kind of get down, understand and put it into application. So I'm going to go over everything you need to know about back training in this video. Hopefully you take a lot out of it, I'm sure you will. So yeah, diving straight into it. We've literally just arrived at the gym, got a logbook here, just filling it out. So a little update on myself. First of all, if you don't know, the usual kind of structure to the videos, update myself, then we'll dive straight into the video. So last couple of videos have been kind of nutrition related with full days of eating, and then today back to the kind of training segment, providing a lot of information as usual, boys. So if you don't know, my name is Brandon, I am 19 years old and I am an online coach. So we are 5.5 weeks out from my first ever bodybuilding competition, which is pretty goddamn cool. So yeah, 5.5 weeks out, really just pushing for fat loss at this stage. In time, we're exactly where we want to be. We're not behind, we're not ahead, which is a good spot to be in. So match low this morning of 67.3 kg, which is pretty goddamn cool. And last week when I did this session, I was 68.3 kg. So we are exactly a kilo down from last rotation of this session, which is lovely. And today's date is the 18th of, what month is it? The 6th. So yeah, that is where we're at. First of all, update myself, so let me just get the sheets up. So food has been pulled the last 2 weeks as well. As I said, just pushing for fat loss. Body weight is reacting very well, like just seeing it trend downwards at a very good and steady rate. So yeah, as I said, max low this morning with 67.3 kg. We're down like about 0.75 kilos from last week, which is good. So we'll throw up. This is how we're looking post pull. So after this session, this is how we're kind of looking. The last thing you would have seen me, Tira, you probably would have seen me last video. I probably did like an update on that even on the full day of eating. But yeah, we're getting a good chunk leaner now, like especially from the front. Like I wouldn't say we're almost there from the front, but we're getting pretty lean, especially from the front. It's just the glutes, hammies are starting to come in a lot more, which is good. So yeah, things are just starting to get real fucking cool. Like in my opinion, like in my head and the way I'm getting like my mindset, like prep is now started. Like it's just started now. I'm pretty sure we're in like the 11th week of prep. It's absolutely flowing. I've been really enjoying these YouTube videos as well. So I got a couple messages last couple of days like asking to put out more. So I'll try my best. But I like to do like one a week, 2 a week max. And just provide a lot of value in each one, and it's not just a case of kind of pumping out videos. I like to keep my YouTube videos high quality, you know, longer form content. I want it to be very valuable and entertaining at the same time, which is what I'm trying my best to do. So yeah, appreciate the support as always, boys. But update, food is now the lowest it's ever been. Actually, the lowest my food has ever been, which is pretty goddamn cool. And it's still at, right, we're in such a solid spot. We've got so much tools to play with. Food is still high, and all things considered, considering we're 5 weeks out, my food is still at 2.485 thousand calories, so 2,485 calories on train day, 2,000 protein, 300 carb, 45 fat, and then rest days we're sitting at just above 2,100, which is so sound. Like I'm not hungry at all. I'm still, I wouldn't say I'm full. Like I look forward to meals, yeah, like my appetite's there, but like I'm sound. It's not a problem at all. You know, I'm not really hungry. So 220 protein, 200 carb, and then 50 fat on rest days, and then cardio is at 3 times 30 minutes, and then just quite a lot of posing. Pretty much is where cardio is at. So once again, so much to play with. We've got room to decrease food, we've got room to increase cardio, and we're feeling fresh, we're feeling good. High days, just going in when needed. Just making sure that the physique isn't flattening out too much. Like we don't want to keep me full, but we want to just keep me not from being like flat, extremely fat, where it kind of takes me from my training. And realistically, we have kind of room to introduce high days. Not that we're ahead, but like we have, you know, allowed room for that to happen, like when we were kind of planning out prep. So yeah, that's where things are going really well. Once again, just another week of cracking on with fat loss, which is pretty much the majority of prep, isn't it? So yeah, 5 weeks and 4 days I think out from the first show. So obviously as well, my first show like is, I wouldn't say it's a warm-up show, like people say like a warm-up show, but like I am obviously competing in team bodybuilding, being 19 this year, and my first show is competing against juniors. So like realistically, I have zero expectation going into it. We're not going to be like 100%. My best look will not be at the first show, we know that, but like, we're obviously going to come in stage condition. But obviously my two main shows are like, let me see how kind of further away they are from that show. So my main two shows, I'm 12 weeks and 13 weeks out. So there's like a 7-week gap between my first show and my last show, which is pretty drastic. And obviously those are my priority. Like, you know, competing as a junior, my plan isn't to bring my best look 100%. Like, it's just a kind of case of getting used to the stage, warming up, you know what I'm saying? But we're still going to bring a good look. I'm sure we'll still be in condition. So yeah, that is how we're looking. That is where we're at. Diving straight into it. So what I kind of want to touch on, especially what I see is like people kind of struggle with like kind of volume wise, and how to kind of lay out a pull session, back session. So what we're going to go over here first of all is volume in general. So in general, it's just a case of kind of trial and error, seeing what works for you, seeing what your body can recover. Like, it is very person dependent. So what one kind of go over is like recovery capabilities. So let's say you're like a normal person. This is where your recovery will be. And first of all, what you need to realize is like you need to have your shit together. You need to have your external variables nailed, your nutrition, your recovery. All of that needs to be absolutely nailed to make sure you have a higher recovery capability. So let's say you don't have your shit together, your routine's all over the place, you're not consistent at all. Like, your recovery is probably going to be down here compared to if you're on your shit and it was up here. And that gap right there is, you can get away with more volume, more stimulus, which equals more growth. So first of all, what you need to realise is when you look at volume, first of all, you need to be on your shit with your sleep, your nutrition, everything. Be consistent in a routine. That is first of all what we need to realise to make sure you have the highest recovery capabilities there. So, and obviously when you're not on your shit and you're down here, like, it's hard to determine whether you have too much volume, too little volume, because you're all over the place and your recovery is going to be all over the place. So it's hard to kind of determine, oh, is that too much volume, or is it too little volume, or can I get away with more, because you're all over the place. So first of all, you need to have your shit together to actually know if, you know, it is volume that's the problem, or if you can get away with more volume, which equals more growth at the end of the day. So yeah, volume is once again a case of trial and error. What we suggest is just setting a baseline of volume. Don't be stupid with it. Realistically, if you were starting out a program, I would start at a kind of lower baseline to be safe. And then from there, as the weeks go on, it's just a case of assessing the logbook, making sure you're logging your workouts, and assessing how you're progressing week to week, and how you're just feeling. Like, are you can go into a session slightly sore on that body part and still progress it, which is sound. That is a good indicator that you're pretty close to your maximum recoverable volume, which is obviously, like, we don't need to be at the kind of maximum we want to get away with, but like, obviously, in my opinion, doing as much volume as you can get away with, progressing week to week, is a pretty good spot to be, because that's going to obviously lead to the most growth, in my opinion. So yeah, that is what I would say there. Start with a baseline. Look at your logbook week to week, assess how you feel, assess how your body part feels, is it recovered or not, and then obviously adjust from there. And obviously that is one of the main positives from getting a coach as well, is like, you don't need to worry about that stuff, they do that stuff for you. And once again, it can be quite complicated and kind of advanced to kind of think about that, but the fundamentals of training apply. If you're not training hard and all of the basics, nailing the basics, and volume does not fucking matter, okay? So making sure you obviously got your shit together and you are training hard, and making the most out of the volume, and obviously adjusting when needed. So my pull session, little walkthrough, we're starting off with triceps at the start. Always just start with triceps at the start. So we've got 6 sets there, 3 sets on a push down, 3 sets overhead, and then we're starting off with a single arm pull down, 2 sets there each side, and then moving on to the big boy, which has just been introduced, which is the barbell RDL, which I'm so excited. So for myself, I used to run up the SLDL, the stiff leg deadlift, for quite a while. However, just for myself, just the way I'm built and just my execution, like, it was never just on point, and I would always have kind of problems with it. But the problem was, like, I was just, let's be honest, I was emotionally attached to it, and I didn't want to give it up. But my execution just wasn't there, and I can't get it down. Like, I just have a lot of kind of upper back grounding, and it's pretty excessive, which takes away from the movement itself. So did kind of injure my lower back as well. Was it because of that? Probably. But now that's kind of healed 100%. We're back to actually hinging properly again, which is good. So obviously, if you've seen my last pull day, I had the belt squat RDL in for quite a bit, but I just wasn't getting along with it. I just really could not get a good groove with it. Like, the kind of fixed path, like, I just really didn't enjoy it, really didn't get a good connection. It was good for the first few rotations, but then from there, I just couldn't get it down. It is what it is. So switch to the barbell RDL next week. I have literally not done the barbell RDL in years, and it genuinely felt like so normal and not alien, if that makes sense. Like, it just felt so good last week. So we've got that in, and I'm sure it will be in for like a long time, like years to come. I'm just so happy that I have a good barbell hinge in that I can actually take it to failure and just get fucking after it. Like I just love hinging. Like there's nothing like fucking hinging, like hinging, squatting, sets like that where you really just need to get in the fucking zone. Like I love that shit, and this is why I do this. This is why I prep. This is why I train, because sets like that. So yeah, super happy, and I'm excited to show you that. What can I talk about? A mindset going into a set like that, the difference between a set like that and just like a general movement, and show you the difference and really what it takes, and show you my intensity when I'm 5 weeks out. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I don't feel I'm not in the trenches or anything, you know what I'm saying, but like obviously energy's going to be a bit lower, training's not going to feel as good, but I am not regressing, you know what I'm saying, I'm not regressing, I'm retaining every fucking set in this little group today. So yeah, very excited. But we have yapped enough. I think I shall talk to you during the session. I will try and get a lot of information during my session, but once again, I just want to get after it and train. So yeah, I shall see you at the first movement, which is the tricep pushdown. Any of my boys who have elbow issues like me, whether that's tendinitis, whatever, something that I found to be extremely beneficial that I've actually just recently kind of introduced to my training that I thought this year, well, my warm up is just, I literally just do at the start, kind of warm up my elbows especially. It's just a lot of reps at a really low weight, just pause controlled, and I feel like it just does wonders for my elbows, kind of getting them warm to kind of go into a working set, and especially for niggles and injuries. So in general, like do not push through a niggle or injury. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it, or change up the exercise to make it feel better. So you're not making it injury worse. That's the worst thing you can do, is make something worse. Realistically, 90% of the time, if you just don't aggravate it, like it will just go away. Will be the case for the majority of kind of maybe things that you pick up in it. It is pretty like, and like it is likely to happen, especially if you are training properly, you're training hard, to pick up things here and there. Obviously, making sure you're training smart and properly to minimise that, but it probably will happen every now and then, and it's obviously very person dependent to what that is. But just making sure you're being smart, you're working around it, and you're not pushing through the pain, because that is the worst thing that you can do. Oh. Oh. First set progressed. Giving me a good session. That was upper pin and max reps. Lovely. You know, when I start a session like that, I just know it's going to be a good session. I'm feeling really good today. Won't be surprised if some things are progressed today, and that definitely is going to be the goal. Especially with this pro session, like things have actually been kind of continuing to progress this session, which is really good. So really enjoyed this pro session, and this first set progressed, which is goddamn beautiful. Especially being a kg down from last week, I did this. Progressing is a massive one, and obviously that is the goal. So on to the next. Right, on to the next exercise. Exercise 2, overhead tricep extension. So using this knotless single arm overhead tricep extension. So as I discussed with my elbow problems, like I can't really do any kind of just overhead on the cables, because it just doesn't really feel nice on my elbows. But this was solid. Still kind of slight pause in that stretch position to minimise the kind of effects on my elbows. Even when you do feel good, like I do, just keep it in just to be safe. So yeah, really do like this. It's a nice machine. So yeah, volume wise as well, doing 3 sets there, 3 sets here, so 6 sets of triceps at start, and then we'll kind of go over the back volume as well, if you are kind of wanting like a rough gauge, and for you to just kind of follow along as well. So yeah, 3 sets here, 3 sets there. Last of tricep work going down now, and then on to the back work. So let's get it. Oh! Very nice, very fucking nice. That's the most weight I've ever taken that, I think. Up 2.5, down a rep. That's a progression of nice. Very happy with that. Felt good, felt nice in the elbows also. Bosh. Yep. Triceps done. Time for the real nitty gritty, the back stuff, you know what I'm saying. So let's get it. Right, starting off the back work with the best pull down in the game being a citadel pull down. Pretty sure I do say that every time I use it, but it is honestly the most beautiful pull down I've ever used in my life, so it is very, very good. Obviously, with being able to adjust the profiles and then just alignment, it is pretty spot on. So yeah, starting off with a lat movement. So always my back work, I do start off with a lat movement. Realistically for yourself, you need to look at your physique. Realistically, most people just need more lats and upper back in general, but if you obviously have a lacking body part between these two, you're obviously biasing it, put it at the start of the session, but obviously more stimulus at the start of the session, as we go on, as everything keeps up, his stimulus drops off. Also volume wise as well, adjusting your volume to your upper back and lats within your session is obviously going to be very person dependent on what you can get away with as well. So yeah, once again I will run through the kind of volume that I use, but starting off with lat pull down. So realistically, first of all, what I want you to realise is when you train your back, no matter how much you want to kind of bias what area of the back you're training, all areas of your back is going to be working. So obviously what we can do is just bias it a little bit more. So obviously for this we want to bias the lats. So obviously what we want to do is first of all produce as much stability as possible. So what I mean by that is, first of all I've got this pad here which is producing as much stability as possible with my non-working hand. I'm gripping against her, which obviously produces more stability as well, which means I can just get more out of it as possible. So what I want to think about is that elbow to the hip pocket. So my upper arm should finish right next to my rib cage, and realistically you should get a good internal feel, especially when you're training your lats. That is very important, and finding what rep range works for you is a very important aspect of back training in my opinion as well, especially back training. Like if you're doing a 4, 5, 6 repper for your lats but you can't feel your lats at all, then there's probably something going wrong there. So realistically most of my lat work will be at bare minimum 8 reps. 8 plus reps I found for me. But obviously for a thing like an RDL, I'll do it slightly lower rep range, because that's what I enjoy, that's what I feel I can get the most out of. So for this I like to go 8 plus here, once again finding what works for you, and it is very person dependent as well. So obviously we do want to make sure we have a good internal feel our training our lats here. So what I like to think about is a slightly kind of underhand grip as well, because what that does is if you think of it like here, it almost rotates that elbow in, and right there like I can engage my lats so well and get a good internal feel just out the gates of it. So when we're coming up, I like to kind of allow my shoulder to roll forward a little bit, pause there, and then when I retract back, initiate the movement, I'm initiating it by depressing the shoulder down and then pulling the elbow to hip pocket, and I get a really good internal feel. Once again, same again. And that is exactly how we do this movement. So yeah, that is the lat training 101. And we'll kind of go over the differences and move on to our upper back movements. So 2 sets here, obviously two sets here. Very nice. Second set, matched, same as top set, job done. Something I want you to know as well, just with my execution as well, like especially things that I see people do wrong, is especially those last like 2, 3 reps. Like people, especially when they get that into that shortened position, they simply just crunch down. And if you think about it, like that's not your lats working, like you're not using your lats to get that rep. You're literally just using body momentum to get that last portion of the rep. So making sure, obviously, there's a perfect medium. We not one like point perfect execution, but obviously make sure you're not kind of crunching down those last reps, because that is doing absolutely nothing for your lats in lat development. So yeah, left side, time to do the left side. And it's fucking time for the big boy, which is the RDL. Took 170 for 6 last week, which I'm very happy with. Very happy with the execution. Didn't really care about numbers last week. Once again, not done it in years. And execution, very happy with. Control, so happy with it. Case of, if the plus ones are this week, we'll take it. If I get 6 reps, I'll take it as well. So, time to switch on, and I'll see you for the RDL. or the other time, just warming up now. I kind of just wanted to talk about the kind of mindset going into a set like this. Like, I genuinely fucking mean this. Like, when I'm going through a set, the warm-ups right now especially, after this video's done, like, it's genuinely life or fucking death, and that is the mindset I'm going into a set like this. And some people might think it's a shame. Good for you. Like, it really does not fucking matter to me. I'm just over 5 weeks out. A set like this to retain performance, you know, body weights that I've not been in years, is it literally, it takes absolutely every single atom in your body to do, and you really need to give 100%. If one little thing's off, if your head isn't right in space, if you're not 100% confident going into that set, the set's done. You're not retaining performance, you're losing rep 100%, and that is literally what it takes right now. So 5 weeks out, I shall not drop the performance here. As I said last week, 176, at least 6 today, and it's how we switch it on. So let's go. 5 fucking weeks. 5 fucking weeks. 5 weeks. 1 hour. 1 hour fucking weeks. Come on! Yeah. Okay. Five fucking weeks. Let's go. Yeah.
Got a million views and I also got some with like a plane went into the Twin Towers again when I don't mind firing a boot. Fire to the wall, fire to my low jeans, fire to my shoe. My $1 too. He got right from the left line in the twist. Got people up the street thinking it's that box from the lights on YouTube. See, 016 for money on the mic, everybody gets gas, things go. I'm too stressed out, get gas. Laptop, get gas.
So happy with that set. Once again, match from last week, job done. So fucking happy, especially at the stage of prep. That is the goal. That is the goal with all these sets. So very happy with that. Nothing like else to say. Like, you've seen like the kind of mindset, like preparation before it, stuff that I was saying. So yeah, very happy with that. I'm about halfway through the session. It's about like 2 hours. It's about what been like. It's been like 2.5 hours in a pre-meal and 2 hours in a post-workout meal. So around halfway. So I've got EAs here. 2 essential tips for EAs that to get the most out of them is, first of all, making sure that you're having sufficient fluid with them. Carbs require water. So making sure you're having enough water to actually utilise and uptake the carbs. And number 2, making sure you're not just sipping it through your session. Like, you wouldn't have a meal between like 2 hours, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't really make sense. So making sure you're having it all in one or in a space within that a few minutes pretty much is what I would say there. So 2 tips, getting the most of your EAs, and in my opinion EAs are pretty essential. More so when you're in a deficit of calories. Make sure training performance towards the end of your session, second half of your session, doesn't kind of drop off, especially as you have kind of lower carbs and that peri-workout nutrition. They are pretty important, so I would definitely recommend them. In off season as well, they're just such an easy way to get an extra bit of carbs in, especially if you are struggling to get food in. So EAs, more so the kind of carb powder intra-workout can be pretty important. So that is 2 tips to get the most out of your intra-workout. God. Right, on to upper back now. So T-bar, chest supported upper back row. Chest supported row, in my opinion, for upper back is always going to be superior. So when we're training upper back, obviously we want to think about scapular protraction, scapular retraction, but what we want to do is we want to keep the spine in place, so not like momentum, like swinging. Obviously there might be a time and place for that, but for general upper back training, we want to keep that spine torso in place. Think about almost like when you're coming down, think about almost hiding the chest. Think about scapular protraction, and when we're coming back, think about scapular retraction, really like pinching our shoulder blades together. Obviously while keeping the chest on the pad as much as possible. As you can see in this set, my last couple of reps, my chest might come up a little bit, but it's nothing excessive. So I'm actually going to go on and kind of walk through it, so it's much easier to get understand as well. Upper back training 101. Obviously, as I mentioned, scapular protraction, retraction. If you're not sure what that entails, so first of all, making sure we're making use of the chest pad. You pretty much want to think about your chest just staying on the chest pad the whole time. So when we're coming to the stretch, think about hiding our chest. Almost think about kind of just wrapping the scapula around the ribcage like that. Get full depth, kind of slight pause at the bottom, and when we retract, keep that chest pad up. Think about just bringing your elbows back as far as possible and pinching your shoulder blades together. And just like that, keeping that chest on the pad, spine in place, torso in place, and that's just think about wrapping your scapula around and back. And that's how you train your upper back. So let's get it. Okay. Right, onto another lat biceps movement, second last movement of the session. So yeah, when it comes to this, pretty much same rules apply with the kind of other lat pull down. Obviously that was kind of more vertical motion, this is a more kind of horizontal motion, so same rules apply. What I want to think about here is obviously extra stability, as we kind of talked about with this pad, doing it unilaterally and doing it single arm unilaterally, but obviously just line up lats a lot more. And obviously when we look at science studies, put the most fibres, which is obviously optimal and all that, but you don't need to know that. Doing this lateral, what I want to think about is literally the same rules. So obviously bringing that shoulder forward a little bit to get a better range of motion, but when I initiate movement, I'm depressing the shoulder and then pulling, think about elbow to hip pocket. What I think about here is dragging the triceps across the ground. That's how I kind of like cue it. And when I'm coming up, I'm thinking about just like straightening the arm, kind of tensing the tricep without almost kind of overextending that shoulder, taking the bias off the lats. Because as we talked about, the upper back is going to have some involvement during this, but we want to kind of isolate and bias the lats as much as possible. So demonstration doing it. Bring it in, like right here, I'm engaging my lats are engaged. Full range of motion, not overreaching. Pause in this kind of stretch position, and pulling elbow to hip pocket, just like that. Bang. 2 sets here as well. The 2 sets T-bar as well. What can I go over that? So if you like my physique, my back is like quite a stronger point, so I don't need as much volume in this session. However, for someone else who may have a much weaker back, they might need a bit more volume, because realistically it's not a lot of volume in this session. Once again, everything's pretty much like previous or retaining, so yeah, I'm very happy that this session has been super productive. Pretty much everything retained, literally everything retained, yeah, which I'm very happy with, and previous triceps as well, which I'm very happy with. So 2 sets here, and then moving on to the final 3 sets, which is on the rear delt curl by. So let's get it. Kind of picking movements for your back work. I will always prefer kind of machines, but especially for beginners, you might get a lot of benefit from using kind of free weights, like a barbell row. There is a place for that, for more kind of erector work. Making sure as well, like you're not just thinking about upper back lats, like there's more to your back with your rear delts and also your erectors as well. So obviously making sure that you are including that in your back training. So when it comes to erectors, obviously the ideal for me will be my kind of hip hinge pattern, to getting my erector volume in there. And obviously with the kind of barbell row, for example, as I just said, that will be like, you will get a lot of erectors out of that. Like I wouldn't really necessarily program that for like an upper back kind of biased, because really you're not going to get much scapular protraction and retraction compared to like a chest support. But yeah, things like a single arm dumbbell row as well, with the kind of increased stability, that will be beneficial for, especially for beginners as well. But we'll always prefer machines due to the extra stability it provides, and just realistically just get a lot more out of the movement. So yeah. And final exercise of the day, we have got the cable rear delt. So yeah, start using cuffing. I feel like it's just like kind of a little pocket to put my hand in, so I kind of hold it. So what I want to think about, obviously, if you have a chest support, utilise that with the side it's Bravo. Slightly lean forward here. What I want you to think about is reaching out and then back out as much as possible, almost kind of protracting the scapula a little bit. Reaching out as far, just reaching out as far as you can, like a big massive like cuddle, is what I think about it. And then just thinking back, like out the way. So not thinking just like this, like diagonal, like think about like reaching all the way out, almost like cue that. So that is the thing with exercise of a session. Hope you enjoyed this pro session. I do like kind of walking through my sessions. Hopefully you've got a lot from it as well, whether you are new or whether you are experienced. The last topic that I kind of wanted to go over is just aggression within the training. It's something that I see missing. I kind of wanted to touch on, especially like what I like to do in these videos is kind of touch on things that I feel like people benefit a lot from and mistakes I see, etc. And kind of put it in here because it might be common for people to do, and you might be doing these kind of mistakes as well. So aggression within your training, something I just see lacking in general, especially when you're kind of still on board. Like, you just don't have any aggression, intent behind their reps, behind their sets. You really need to be aggressive. Like, literally think about putting 100% into every single rep, especially those last few reps. Like, get fucking aggressive, like almost get angry, and just put the aggression into the sets. If you lack aggression, you're leaving so much gains on the table. I promise you. So making sure to get in the right headspace, get fucking aggressive, especially for the RDL set as well. Like, you can see how aggressive I'm getting. You can see the mental state I'm getting into, and I really am giving 100% into it. And once again, be honest with yourself. Like, video your training as well. That's something I want to go over that for as well. Like, video your goddamn training. You don't know what you're doing wrong if you can't see your training. Like, even the most experienced athletes would be the same. I would be the exact same. If I wasn't videoing my training, like, I wouldn't know if I'm doing anything wrong. It's that simple. Like, it may feel good, but like it also might look bad as well. Like, you know, like a middle ground between the two. So make sure to film your tests to make sure you can actually see. Even if you're not experienced, you'll be able to see if you're doing something wrong. So yeah, as I say, video your sets, make sure to be aggressive, be intentful, put some intent in your sets, like, especially if you consume a lot of content, you'll see that I do push that a lot, because I do think it is of the most important. So yeah, an amazing pro session kicked off today, 5.5 weeks out, which is fucking crazy from the first show. Obviously going to discuss the kind of first show, expectations for it and stuff, so yeah. Appreciate the support as always, boys. We'll keep the weekly videos up, and if you have any suggestions on videos you want to see outside the gym, inside the gym, just let me know. Any questions, just let me know as well. So much love, and I shall see you for another week. Great. Bye.